Hello everyone, Billings Beat is back to introduce you to another outstanding member of the Billings community. My name is Neil Byer, residential realtor and founder of Alephus Real Estate Group. Today we're speaking with Arica Lipp, owner of the Beat Ballroom company. Arica has been involved in dance throughout her life and is trained in ballet, jazz, hip hop, and ballroom dance. She has competed and performed professionally in ballroom, Latin, and swing styles. After years of touring, her focus is now on her family and business. Arica, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you. I'm happy that you came and we're going to have a fun conversation.
Absolutely, and I think you said you're going to show me some moves.
Oh, yes.
To start off, I'd love to learn more about your business. Can you give an introduction of your studio and what you do here?
I sure can. So I created the Beat Ballroom company. It's a ballroom dance studio. Now the ballroom term is used generally to encompass also the Latin dances, the swing styles, and of course, country western. And I offer both private and group lessons. So for an individual, couples, larger groups, events, you name it. It's a lot of fun and a lot of ways that you can utilize the services we have. Currently, I am the solo instructor. It's taking a lot of years to get to the skills that I have, and I am currently in a search to train just the right people to carry on my STEM techniques that I've studied at a university, and also through years of experience working from ages 6 all the way up to no limit. And I want to just bring joy of dance to the community at every aspect, both socially and competitively.
For those people who don't know where you are you located?
So it's a little tricky.
As I found out.
The address is 1212 Grand Avenue, but the GPS is going to try to take you to the Albertsons parking lot. So if you're familiar with where Grand Avenue and 12th Street intersect, there's a Papa Murphy's on the corner. And then over here you have the Big Bingo Casino. So you're going to turn right onto 12th Street and my entrance will be on the right-hand side.
How did you get started in dance?
It's the cliche, I was just born to move.
You came out of the womb just moving?
Pretty much, and barefoot. I grew up a country girl, and my mother and father actually were ballroom dancers themselves.
Oh, really?
But I didn't know that for a long time. So
how'd you find out?
I was sitting in at home. I was 16 years old, and
you were already dancing?
I was already a dancer. I was doing ballet, cheer, jazz. So I was already a dancer. I just always loved to move. And when I was sitting at home, it was about junior or senior year, and I watched a Latin amateur dance, the world Latin amateur. And when they say amateur, these people are professionals. Let's not kid ourselves. They're amazing. They're not human. And I'm watching this ballroom competition on TV. And I'm like, it was one of the few times that they had held this competition in America, and it was held in Vegas that year. And I just remember looking at this amazing movement that I hadn't really seen before. I'd seen a little hint of it in classic movies, which I love, but never to this full-on world, this peek into this competitive ballroom and Latin dancing world. And I was just mesmerized, especially when samba music started playing. And I was like, oh, chicka, oh. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to learn that so badly. And my mom and dad just pipe up and go, hey, I remember you used to do that. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And so I was like, oh, my world has just turned upside down.
I mean, were they heavily involved in it, or was it
They went to the university that I attended, and they were on their touring team.
Wow.
And so my dad started it because there was a pretty lady in there, you know, my mom, and
so that's also how they met, through dance?
Slightly, yeah. They met at college, and they both joined the ballroom team, and goodness gracious, you know, they got married and had 5 kids in a 6.5-year period. So there wasn't much time for dancing after that, and that's why we never knew, and until that moment, and then I was never the same. I was never the same. It was a siren call. I wanted so badly to learn that style.
What's the most memorable experience you've had working with a client?
Oh, there's
That's
so
a tough
many.
one.
There's so many. I'll give a few.
Okay.
The reason I can't just pick one is that I work with so many different ages. And when you're in different ages, there's a different benefit.
Right.
Different stage of life means ballroom's going to mean something different to you. So when I work with little 6-year-olds, okay, I'm going to teach a young boy who would normally stand in a corner like this and be like, girls are over there, ew, right?
Cooties.
Cooties. At that age, I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to ask a lady to dance. And so I show them, I demonstrate, this is how we offer her the right hand because you escort the lady on the right side. So keeping some of those—
You're teaching me something.
I am. The manners and etiquette that need to keep alive, that are really important and make a big difference. They seem little, but they do make a big difference.
But also create confidence, right?
Yes.
Because then at the prom or at the homecoming, they know what to do.
And with the knowledge, eliminates the fear.
Right.
So I know grown men that don't have that courage to just go and ask a lady across the room to dance that they don't know. So I can teach boys at a young age that fear never will touch them. And they'll always have that confidence. They don't even have to be a great dancer, but they're a great socializer, and maybe it's a learned behavior. It's not something that everyone has naturally, so your shy young man can have 30 seconds of courage and be a winner in the end of the day, you know. So I like that empowers them, that knowledge of etiquette and how to handle certain situations that are social, gives them so much success for the future.
Right.
And
it goes beyond dancing.
Oh yeah, there's so many things. You look at a teenager, like you have a teenage girl, for example, she gets to feel pretty and beautiful and confident as she learns to move. She gets to decide, not someone else. You know, for me, and this is kind of my own story too, when I learned to dance, I was a shy person and no one would believe that today. But what I was I was the youngest of 5. So, you know, you're in the pecking order. And, you know, I was taught, you know, you're the youngest, you sit quiet, you wait your turn, and that's how it was. And so when I learned to dance, this shy little girl didn't feel shy because on that dance floor I was so happy with moving and expressing myself and all my emotions to music that I felt untouchable. I felt like no one could hurt me. No one could say anything that would hurt me in any way, and I was my moment to shine and no one could take that from me. And I've since seen that happen in other young girls' lives, young men as well. And it's the coolest thing to see this shift in confidence just grow and blossom, and then you're just like,
it's such a great gift to give to them, right?
So proud. They're so grown up, and now I got students that they have the kids of their own now. So, and it's a wonderful thing, and to stay in touch with them too. And then there's some single individuals that they come in. They're looking to maybe rediscover themselves after a divorce, some healing that goes on there, or maybe they've never been married, but they're in a new town and they've never met. They don't know how to get out and meet people. I get to teach them this wonderful skill that enables them to meet new people and see that healing process occur for someone who's been through a divorce. That's very painful. That's so hard. And this is a great therapy tool for so many people. Then you have the couples. Oh my gosh, they're so fun. They're so fun.
It can be like therapy, I imagine.
Oh yes, I actually studied psychology as well. Did you? Yes, I did return to school for psychology, and someday I hope to incorporate it as an actual therapy tool.
Is anyone doing that right now?
Nobody. So because you would have to be very skilled in dance as in instructing, as well as have this psychology. Well, you don't technically have to have the degree, but I want the degree. And I want those qualifications as well. And so you'd have to be that unique individual that sees that connection and wants to pursue it. But even without that, when couples come in, I go, okay, here we go, let's talk about teamwork. And once you get that teamwork down and you're flowing and moving perfectly in harmony, you feel like a fairy tale. You feel like you're walking on air.
And so united, I mean, in unison, right?
Beautiful.
The syncrecy that exists in that.
It is. I mean, think of it that way. Imagine how it would feel to walk with another person completely without conflict, completely smooth, right? Instead of, you know, all this bumping and conflict. So when you apply the proper techniques, it's heaven. It's heaven.
What was it like when you first started the business?
It was a little bit nerve-wracking. I didn't know how people would accept what I had to offer. So many gaps were there for me to fill. I got a lot of country western requests. I still do, and I still love it. And even with the country western world, it encompasses several dances, not just one or two.
Right.
There's several styles in the country western that I can teach. So I would say trying to get my name out there was the most difficult thing. I didn't know a lot of people, and here the word of mouth is number one still for marketing. The pandemic that we've experienced recently has pushed a lot of people to, you know, internet online marketing, which is wonderful. But when I first started out here, that wasn't the case, and nobody was online. It was very odd, but at the same time, it's charming and wonderful and part of the character of the town and the community. So nothing to scoff at all. Something I respect. But I wanted to be known. I wanted people to know what I had to offer, and I think that was the biggest challenge for sure. Was just letting people know I'm here. There's still so many that still don't know I'm here, but we're working on that.
Anything new or exciting you want to talk about or introduce to the community?
Well, I have had to take a painful break from my kid and youth program. That was very, very difficult because you cannot social distance children in ballroom and have them learn effectively. They wouldn't understand. Adults I can teach separately, or there were no restrictions necessary for adults to come learn because they're doing it by their choice. So I'm really excited to reopen my youth program, and I have some really, really fun ideas for that specifically, but just getting classes open for them again is huge. I'm
Do you know
excited.
when that will happen yet, or is it still up in the air?
That will probably be in the fall, in September. I like to give, or even October, I'd like to just give parents a little couple weeks to adjust to the first weeks of school, get their new routine back into play after a long summer break. And you know, I'm very mindful of athletes. I don't want to conflict with their current sports. So I try to arrange things so that it's not going to hinder them in any way. I don't feel like you should have to choose between dance and other sports. Dance is its own sport for sure, but I think it's more of a social and enrichment. Like it's not optional for my children, especially my sons. I say this is part of your education, so you don't have to be great at it. You don't have to like totally become this great career dancer.
But mom knows best.
But mom knows best, and your wives in the future will thank you.
And you'll thank me when you're older.
And they will thank me.
What are your goals for the next year?
With this next year, definitely resuming my kids and youth program. I'm also wanting to start a nonprofit organization it'd be the Billings Dance Academy. It's for children and youth.
Amazing.
The idea is to work to get grant money for this nonprofit and get the right people on the board, people that understand that you need to be qualified as an instructor. Not just anybody off the street should be teaching children how to ballroom dance or swing dance. And basically this is how it would work. And I hope I'm not like revealing too much, but I'm not, what am I worried about? I don't care. I'm passionate about it and I love it. I'm going to be doing this. So I would like to get this funded so that instructors can come into the school. I'm just going to use one single school of a sixth grade class, okay, sixth graders in one elementary school. There's usually two or three different sixth grade classes. So during their PE period, okay, the PE teacher is the supervising instructor there hired by the school. I would come in as a guest with permission, as a guest instructor for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, okay? PE teacher gets paid, the nonprofit funds my being there and my time, and I get to teach these kids, all of them, for 6 weeks how to dance their basics in swing, foxtrot, waltz, cha-cha, and possibly some country two-step because it's Montana. And so for 6 weeks, they learn these basics. And I rotate their partners throughout the class. So they each have an assigned starting point, right? They get to start in a starting position with the same partner, but throughout the class period, they rotate and they get all the way through the rotations. So everyone gets to dance with everyone. No one gets to play this, well, I know when I dance with her, or ew, he, not him. None of that. I have a very strict no pain rule. No physical pain, no causing emotional pain. We don't do that, and I teach them. We don't do that. That's hurtful. We don't do that, you know, things like that. The social things, right? I teach them how to escalated dance. I teach the girls how to properly respond. Yes and thank you. It takes guts to ask you to dance. You need to recognize that and appreciate it.
And is this in the works already? Is it coming to fruition?
I have it all planned out. I just need to form it, get approved, and keep moving things forward. And then I get through that 6th grade class. They're done. I go to the next 6th grade class for 6 weeks. Then you remove the stigma surrounding boys dancing.
Right.
Particularly because now every single one of those children have learned it.
You know how to do it.
And you can't really pick on someone when you did it too.
Yeah.
So we would remove that whole, you know, stigma and fear.
But also bring in that confidence and that social aspect and get them to know each other and mingle with each other and not have, as you said, that favoritism or take those cliques out of the school to some extent.
It equalizes it. Yeah. Everyone's on the same standing. And then you find the kids that just
blossom, fall in love with it.
They just zing, and they're like, oh my gosh, I really love this. I really, really love this. And so you discover this new thing that they're passionate about, and you open up a lot of doors for them that way. And imagine if we could do that through all of the schools.
How many doors you'd open?
For them, for their lives, they would be changed forever, and the community would be changed. I wouldn't have to worry about my kids doing at prom because they're already busy having fun in wholesome ways.
And going back to the joy that it brings, right? I mean, as you said, dance brings so much joy, and you're absolutely right. The best weddings I've been to are those that I danced my butt off. So.
Yeah.
What is something most people, your customers, or just people in general, don't know about you?
Then I'm a professional photographer. That's probably the biggest, like what? You do another career? Personal branding outside of dance, personal branding, like headshots, you know, these are used for promotion, these are used for marketing. So there's a certain level of quality they have to have. They have to look clean, they have to look professional, they have to send the right message. And so, you know, if they have stray hairs, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take the time, I'm gonna get rid of that stray hair. Like, oh, let's get fixed blemishes, you know.
Can you give me
things
hair?
Like that? Yes, I can, but is that authentic?
Right.
So my job isn't to make you look like someone else.
No.
It's to be like, okay, this great personality you have, that twinkle in your eye, I want to bring that out.
I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to make it shine.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that out. That's the focus. I consult on wardrobe. I spend a lot of time consulting on brands, colors, logos.
People, if you have business shoots, this is the place to go.
It is. I'm not going to argue that. It is. I know that I invest more in my clients. Nobody's going to care about your success with your images than I will. Nobody.
Do you shoot here as well?
I do. I have a studio space, so it's nice to have everything all in one area. So I have.
You don't have to run around Billings back and forth. It's all here.
It depends on the client. Like if their brand needs a certain aesthetic, and I don't have it here, you betcha, I'm going around town.
But if it's a studio shoot.
But I almost always usually include both.
Right.
So. It all starts with me sitting with you and asking you all the questions. Tell me about your passion. Tell me what your brand is. What is your goal? What
so before you shoot, you get to know your client. Figure out what they want, what their personality is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So like,
I would bet you're the only photographer doing that.
Yeah. Well, because I want to take that. That's the kind of photographer I want to be. It's important to me, and so I'm not better or worse than the photographer, right? But this is what is important to me.
I don't know if they saw that.
It's a wink. But this is the kind of photographer I want to be. I want to be the one that if you have a hard time deciding what you should wear, I'll come help you. I'll come help figure out what to wear. I'll shop out of your closet, or we'll help you figure out where to find something. I'll tell you about what colors are going to look great for you. Let me look at your website. What's going to look customized to your website?
And while your photography covers all realms, you mentioned to me before we got on camera that one of the things you truly enjoy doing and that you're obviously very qualified to do is to take photos of dancers.
Yes. So the average person will look at a dancer moving and just be awe-inspired. Right. Now, when you freeze a dancer in time through photography, you're catching them in a moment. Question is, did you catch them at the right moment? Did you catch them when they reached their full extension?
Was their toe fully pointed?
Was their toe fully pointed? Did they have turnout? And so for a dancer, when a dancer sees a picture, they're looking for those pain points. They're looking for that perfection. If you don't have a dancer's background or you don't know what to look for, then you're going to make those mistakes. Think that you did this great job, right. And in fact, you just devastated the girl by posting
Look at that action shot I took. Isn't it great?
It's beautiful. That lighting's sweet. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh no, this poor girl, because she knows she can do it.
Right.
But if you
just took it,
but you took it almost a second too long. It's like sports photographers will tell you there's a finesse to knowing when the ball is going to make connection with a bat.
There's an art to it.
It is, and if you don't know that trajectory, if you're not familiar with the sport, you don't know that. You don't know when that moment's going to hit.
Right.
But if you're very familiar with that sport,
right.
you know it, and it's not that hard.
Right.
You're looking for it.
Right.
You're waiting for it, and then you have that moment.
It's natural.
It's natural. So that's where I specialize in that, for sure.
So if someone wants to work with you, either as through your dance studio or through your photography, how can they get a hold of you?
Honestly, my cell phone number is public. It's on my website. It's because I want people who want to work with me to be able to find me. Texting is the fastest way to get a hold of me. You can message me on Instagram, Arica, Lipp, photography. And I have a couple different Instagrams because I have my dance photography portfolio on one area, and then I have kind of a mix of everything I do in the other. And then I have a ballroom Instagram, of course, for my studio. And I'm on Facebook. That's easy to find me on Facebook. I'm always on there because I have moved around a lot and I wanted to stay in touch with my family and friends that I've gained through my life. And Facebook's the #1 place where I can keep us all connected. And then my Instagram is just me showing like all the beautiful things, all the pretty things I get to do and enjoy through my work that I want people to share and show.
Arica, thank you so much. No, absolutely. I learned so much today about dance, about photography, about your business, about you, and it's been immensely enjoyable. I wish that we had more time. I mean, honestly.
Well, just come back.
You're such a great conversationalist. Thank you, audience, Billings, for joining us for another episode of the Billings Beat. Please join us next time on the next episode. This is Neil Byer with the Leftis Real Estate, signing off. Cheers.